Hi, everybody. Am I live?
Yes, you
Okay,
are.
welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Are we having the best time ever? We had so many comments about day one's meditation. So if you go to shop.colettebaringreed.com, is that right, Mark?
That is
Shop
that is
dot,
correct.
okay, shop dot my website. That was actually energy one from the Seven Energies series, but we have so many meditations there that I'm sure you would love. So just check out my website store, shop.colettebaronry.com. Yay! Also, people were asking, what card deck did she pull from? That was yesterday, right, Mark? Yesterday.
Yes.
So Shaman's Dream was the card deck. Now, this is a card deck that I did with Alberto Vallaldo. That's the last one that I did. My new one's coming soon in a few weeks.
Call it.
But
Don't
yes,
hold it at an
don't
angle. Hold
don't
it
hold it.
straight up so people can read it. There
The
you go.
Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. This is the card deck that I use for everybody. Okay. How are you doing today? How are you doing? Let's get some comments. Give me some hearts. Tell us how you're feeling today. If you were to grab a word for today, what would it be? What would it be? What do you think, Mark?
Yes.
Seeing that people
Yes, let's go. Energized,
ener
happy,
yay, energized.
magical day, connection, exciting,
Yes,
inspired. Oh
yay.
my God, this is
Yes.
going too fast. I
No,
can't
it's
read them all.
perfect. It's perfect. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I love it.
There are some people are saying they're feeling frustrated. There's a little bit of that stuff going on, but there's a
Okay.
lot of people here who are just excited, peaceful,
Yeah. And so for
calm, blessed.
yeah. So for those people who are frustrated, recognize that it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong. It just means that some resistance is coming up and it's a gift. It's going to show you a gift. But I know it's never fun to be frustrated. I've definitely had my fair share of it. Anyway, I do want to welcome everybody back and I want to give you a brief overview of what we've so far. So yesterday we talked about ways to get unstuck when journaling. And I led you through one of my most favorite exercises called the dot exercise, which allowed us to tune into our higher selves, which leads us into our topic today about bringing forward your intuition with journaling. So, what the heck is intuition and what does it have to do with journaling? So, let's define that for everybody so that we're all on the same page. If we were to say something about intuition, I would say that it's an innate and inherent capacity to receive information from the vast conscious universe that lives inside us. I'm going to repeat that. Intuition is an innate and inherent capacity. It means that we all have it. All have it. We have an inherent capacity to receive information from the vast conscious universe, the intelligent divine universe that also lives inside us. Okay, so we're not separate from it. So we have the conscious universe, some would call it God, but that vast intelligence knows everything that you need to know about living your best life, and it wants you to. So if you take another layer of that consciousness and make it more about your unique purpose and experience here on earth, then we talk about the higher self, which really relates to an aspect of the divine that is genuinely yours and your own. That's assigned to you. So think about that. It's assigned to you, so you have a personal, immortal self that is individuated as you. It absolutely knows you completely. And it's the self that knows you're immortal. It's the self that knows what's in your highest good. It's the self that experiences itself through you. It's got a big, giant capital S. That's your soul. All right. That's the large S. The higher self is the soul self. And then you have the ego, which is your little self with a small s. Both are important. Okay. One is personality based and the other one is wisdom based. Your higher self knows your potential and knows you have access to unlimited potential that's meant for you to explore in this lifetime. Now, you can't know absolutely everything, but you're here on purpose and your soul has the blueprint. You are here on purpose. Think about that. You don't have to go looking for it. You are here on purpose. Your purpose is built in. The soul has your blueprint. It's a cosmic blueprint with what you are here to experience and learn. It's already in you. The system's there. You just forget that. And that's called spiritual narcolepsy. We fall asleep at the wheel. We're built that way. It's just the way it is. The soul is always present. We just don't listen to it all the time. But it is the part of you that's immortal and carries on until it's time to come back again. So what does intuition and journaling have to do with that? So intuition is the system that you can hear. It's an innate radio transmitter. So you hear through intuition. It tunes into Soul FM, right? Imagine a little dial. Intuition reminds us we have access to this divinity, and it taps into synchronicities when things align, don't make sense. But wow, they do make sense. So the more we actually write in a journal, the easier it is to connect to our intuition, the voice of our spirit, the prompts of our spirit, because we've kept a journal. It's a constant repeating, and we have greater access to our intuition because it's like going to the gym. You're practicing receptivity every time you sit down to journal, and you bring spirit into the mix. Okay, so it's not just your memory, you're bringing spirit into the mix. That's why your intuition is, it just works out. It goes to the gym when you are journaling. And boy, oh boy, does it ever allow you to funnel all kinds of extraordinary inspired epiphanies. So even though you may begin your journaling practice by connecting to your memory, because that's what we all do. Oh, I have to remember something. Think about that, or like, this is what's happening. It's memory based, but that's just the starting point. We just begin with what we know. Because when you look back over your words, you'll able to see how far you've come, also in knowing yourself and tapping into wisdom that you didn't even know you had. So this can really supercharge our journaling practice and help us create a clearer channel for our inner voice to speak to us when we write. And this results in much more clarity in our lives. So we have to know that this is kind of an organic experience. Your intuition comes when you journal. You don't start intuitively, or some days you might, but you start somewhere. You put dot to paper, and then all of a sudden, you're starting to really tune in to the higher self that wants to talk to you. So that's the other thing. When you're just putting down, this bad thing happened to me, this bad happened, it's not a dumping grounds. That's why when you journal about the things that, you feel drawn to, you're inspired to, like it's kind of like a written vision board in a way, right? And there are many powerful ways to connect with your higher self when you journal. For instance, meditation, prayer, being in nature, again, making that part of the process. Like, again, remember we talked about, the first day we talked about habit stacking. So I habit stack my journaling with meditation and coffee, right? So I have, sounds like it's a little counterintuitive, but the coffee, the meditation, the journaling all go together for me, right? So in my experience, meditating on my relationship with the divine and just meditating on my connection to the divine, just that automatically opens up my intuition, right? All I do is I claim that the divine is in me. I want you to think about that right now. Claiming the divine is in me. I'm in there. The divine is in there. My soul is here. There's nothing that I lack. It's all available to me. But my connection, I foster a conscious contact to my higher power. So when you open up to the fact that the conscious universe lives inside of you, it's not like the person up there, the old man in the sky, or like, somehow over there, they're going to come and save me. No. We are power within us. We just perceive ourselves as separate. That's the small self, but the soul knows better. And the conscious universe wants to express itself through you. You're an emissary of the divine. So when you open up to the fact that this lives inside of you, all of a sudden your capacity to tune into that is greatly enhanced, and you become more intuitive about what to write. And you become more intuitive when you're not writing, when you're walking around in your day-to-day life. That's a huge part of my school at Oracle School is journaling. We journal. Like everything that I teach has journaling attached to it because it just works, because you integrate it as you write. So you say, I know what I have to write about. I know what I need to reflect on. Journaling allows us to reflect on aspects of ourselves or our lives that need more healing. We know what those are when we need more love, or they need to change. They need reinforcement, or they need rest. You're just going to know what to focus on. But I have a shortcut. Okay. What I want to share with you today is a long time personal practice of mine that seriously, and I mean it, and I am not even vaguely exaggerating, this has transformed my life, and that's journaling with oracle cards. It's the easiest way to connect with your intuition when journaling. So I know some of you came here strictly for journaling. You don't know what the heck are oracle cards. Why is she talking about that? We're not here for psychic readings, of course not. Let's talk about that and dispel some misconceptions, because oracle cards are not just about psychics doing readings or people making predictions. They are a powerful tool to bring forward insights, especially mine. Mine are designed for that, because they allow your conscious mind to take a back seat and your soul to rise up with the answers you need. Now, if you use the subject matter of an oracle card, you're that much closer to what it is that spirit wants you to look at. And it really can lead to deep insights about your life, how to heal it, and how to make it better on a daily basis. It's amazing. And I'm going to tell you how it all started for me, because honestly, it's a crazy story. So I always knew that I worked with the tarot. So when I got clean and sober 37 years ago, I wasn't doing readings professionally at that point, but I saw the tarot, for example, as strictly a device to look at the future and see where things are going, and which is how I eventually made my living. But I went to a therapist, a Jungian therapist. I did a lot of Jungian therapy. She used tarot cards as part of my sessions with her. I was so shocked because I didn't, first of all, know what the deck was. It was called the Handel Tarot. Anyway, she would pull it out during our session, and I'm like, is that a tarot deck? What kind is that? Blah, blah, blah. And she would recommend that I journal about the cards that came up in my session. And it was never about prediction. It was about reflection. So I had early experience 37 years ago that I could use this as a personal transformation tool and a way to reflect on myself in that moment about something I needed to know about me, that I needed to access. So this becomes accessible to everybody, because you can literally, I don't care if you've never used oracle cards before, you can just open a box, choose a card, and write about that card. Now, why does that work? Just really quickly, is because a good oracle card deck, mine, are all based on a lexicon which represents life experience. Okay, so that's just in brief. So you have to just assume that also, that just because oracle cards are a navigational tool, which is true, and a way that the conscious universe can communicate with you about what's going on in your life, but it also does through something called synchronicity. So we know, and you'll know that the minute you start using them, you're like, how does this thing know me? This is something I need to think about today. Boom, boom, boom. Right? I can write about this, no problem. Right? But how does that work? Well, how, in fact, do you pick a card that makes sense to you? Because not all cards are going to make sense to you on the day. So synchronicity is what operates as soon as you open an oracle card deck. That's what they're built on, is the concept of synchronicity. So it's always going to give you something to write about, always, especially if you're stumped. That's why I always journal with oracle cards. I'm not saying what's going to happen. It's more like, what should I reflect on today? Boom. Now, I did learn this a long ago. I totally found it to be so helpful. It actually kept me from lying to myself, because when I was newly sober, I still didn't trust myself, and my ego wanted things a certain way, but my soul always knew. And I had all these, constructs of defense and ways in which I saw the world, and low self-worth and blah, blah, blah. And the oracle cards, or the tarot back then, because there was no oracle cards back then. I started making them later, as do other people, but it was a dialogue of truth and truth telling. So I know it works, and it never fails. So whenever I'm stumped, I will pull a card, but I always pull a card when I journal. So it's rare that I don't. So there are many different methods for journaling with oracle cards, and I'm going to dive deeper into that in an upcoming course. That is so awesome. I'm telling you, if you're interested at all, you need to run and take that course. But for today's purpose, I want to lead you through one simple exercise you can experience journaling with oracle cards. So I'm going to have my fabulous husband play some meditation music. Now, I am going to show you, how this is going to go, right? Because I'm pulling a card for everybody. So I want you to imagine and follow along with my voice, this meditation. And we're going to set an intention right away as part of our meditation. And that the group discovers, everybody that's here, all of us, what do we need to reflect on today in our journal? And just follow my voice now. And take a deep breath. Take a deep, deep breath. And we're going to imagine that on the bottoms of our feet, our roots, they're energetic roots that push out from the bottoms of our feet deep into the center of the earth. And boy, oh boy, are those roots deep. And they're wide. And they ensure that we stay present in our bodies. And just pull up a golden light up and around your body, around your body, around your body. And repeat after me. The light within me creates miracles. The light within me illuminates truth. And just tune into the feeling of trusting your higher power. Just trust. Trust that you're going to hear the right thing just now. And I'm going to count to 3. And we'll let the music go. And I will tell you the card that I chose on all our behalves. Or the spirit in me that was connected to the spirit in you chose this card. So I pulled a card for everybody. So you are all going to be writing about this one card. But let me read it to you first, tell you what it is, and then I'll give you the instructions, okay? So let's not jump ahead. Perfect. I chose for all of us, or Spirit chose, Between Worlds. The card is Between Worlds, and the deck is Wisdom of the Oracle. And this is the deck that I teach with, okay? Now I'm going to read it to you. Transitions. Not being quite out of one situation and fully engaged in another. The Oracle's message, between the worlds is where you must let go of the tendency to make assumptions. This is a time when you are unable to see what is ahead. Can you cultivate curiosity and trust the process of change and growth? You're done learning the lessons of recent experiences. But in this place between what was and what will be is a state of making and unmaking and making again. What is essential now is to admit not knowing. There's a great freedom and power to be unleashed. A mystery that is not yours to understand weaves the web of life within a divine matrix of consciousness greater than your own thoughts, feelings, beliefs, desires, and decisions. The seeds that were planted in the past begin to take root, but what surfaces will probably not be what you expect. When you are between the worlds, you are invited to see, with the curious eyes of a child, glimpsing a rainbow for the first time. Do so and you will never be disappointed. So I know what I would write, right? I know what I would write. So what called to me, the freedom of saying I don't know and cultivating curiosity, right? That was amazing. So that would have been something that I would write about. That's one statement right there. Oh yes. What's it like for me to have ideas about what my life should look like? But they unfolded in a way that was unpredictable, right? So I've had that happen a few times, having an expectation. So I would write about that. Now, what about you? What stood out for you? Now I'm going to have the card and the meaning up on the screen. And I want you to take the next 5 minutes and write about just whatever comes up for you when you read the message from this card. Maybe there's only one sentence, or maybe even a word just jumps up. So just write for 5 minutes without stopping, or don't edit yourself. All right. Wasn't that interesting? I want to mention too, I never second guess why I get certain cards. So it's kind of interesting that we, for all of us to consider what it's like to be between worlds, that the need for beginner mind, curiosity, and to discover that things may not be what we expected. How'd everybody do? I'd love to hear some comments, Mark.
Okay, yes, we got comments. So fascinating.
All right, fascinating.
Yes, hold on. I
Apparently
just
lots
have
of
to s-
fascinations.
have to slow him down.
Mark's got to slow you down because he can't read it.
Oh, control freak in me had a lot to think about.
Oh, I love that.
That felt wonderful. I got some great insights.
Okay, good.
Presence and surrender now.
Yeah. I love that person that said the control freak in them, right? Because it is true, especially when we're in that space where we don't feel safe, for example, or that we're trying to, defend ourselves of the energy of the world. It's hard to let go, and to surrender into something when we don't expect it or we don't know it. So it's really interesting. I mean, you'll find so many interesting things comes up with this when you decide to do this. Any other comments, Mark?
Oh, tons. I'll just read a few more.
Just read a few more.
All right, Maxine, I receive too many things going on at once to focus on what calls me each day, and this will help me move forward, ensuring me to see more clearly where
Oh,
I
that's
want
so
to
good.
need to be. Yeah.
Great. Can
Sorry.
they hear you? I guess because they hear
Yes,
a
they
mic, right?
can.
Okay. I
Yes.
can't.
Okay.
And then one
Uh,
more.
Okay. One more, or a
Yeah,
few
what-
more.
Okay, a few more. Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
We have Alexandra said, between the worlds, that's exactly where I am at the moment. And I
Yep.
saw that come up so much.
That's good.
And
That's good. And you can write about that. And then also when we realize that we're writing about this, we're journaling about something, we're then empowering ourselves to be present to whatever it is that we're not trying to distract ourselves. It helps us focus. Really just focus. It's amazing. It's
Yeah.
like so easy.
and Francesca said, not what I expected to come out.
That's even better. Francesca said, it's not what I expected to come out. That's the coolest part about this, is that you don't even expect what you're going to write. That's why I say, like, within you is just like this extraordinary access, both to your own personal wisdom of the life you've had up until now, which is memory based, which is fine, but you practically forgot most of that. But really tuning into the unconscious, which is where, all the dreaming comes from, or everything that you need to know about yourself kind of just floats around. And then you've got spirit coming right through, like, hey, we're going to sort through all this. So this is what I'm pulling from this. You need that. It's just so interesting. Anyway, thank you. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to see you in the next live session. Lesson. You know what's happening? I put this lipstick on that is super like minty and it's numbing my lips. So I'm trying to put my words together. Anyway, I'm going to see you tomorrow where we're going to dive into how to create a journaling habit for an empowered life, plus a Q&A. So you get all your burning questions answered. I will be there. So you be there too. I will see you then. Hope you've been enjoying this. Love you all. Mwah.